Good afternoon, class. My name is Specialist Robert Buske, and we will be determining grid azimuth using a protractor. Task number 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0018. Before we begin this class, we will cover some admin information. The risk assessment is low. Hazards and controls within the area include the street, be mindful of the road and stay out of the street. Wildlife, if you are encountered by wildlife, just leave it alone, let it be. Inclement weather, the weather conditions are pretty fair, so we shouldn't have an issue with that. If we do, we're going to just go inside. Physical security, in case of an active shooter, we will first run and then hide and finally fight if it comes to that. Next, we will perform an initial PCC and PCI. I want you to get out writing materials, your map, your protractor, your markers, water source. I'm going to come around and check for these items. Next, we will be going into class material. To start, we will begin by covering the task conditions and standards. Task: determine grid azimuth using a protractor. Task number 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0018. Conditions: you are a member of a squad or team that has received an order requiring movement. You have been directed to determine the grid azimuth from the start point and ending point, designated in the order. You have a 1 in 50,000 scale military map, a military protractor, a pencil, and paper. Some iterations of this task will be performed in Mach 4. Standards: identify a starting point on the map. Identify the end point on a map. Draw a straight line on the map connecting the 2 points. Align the protractor on the map and determine the value of the angle. So, performance step 1, identify the starting point A on the map. So I have my protractor here. I have my 1 in 50,000 scale military map, and my starting point is Golf Bravo 1550-9250. So I'm going to start by marking that point on my map. Performance step 2, identify the ending point on the map. And my ending point is Golf Bravo 2040-9350. So I'm going to find that on the map. Note, when measuring azimuth on a map, remember that you are measuring from a starting point to an ending point. If a mistake is made and the reading is taken from the ending point, the grid azimuth will be 180 degrees off. This causes the user to go in the wrong direction. Performance step 3, draw a line on the map connecting the 2 points. Take my protractor again, use it. Note, to ensure an accurate measurement, the line should extend past the starting point and ending point. Note, when using the protractor, the baseline is always orientated parallel to the north-south grid line. The 0 or 360 degree mark is always toward the top or north on the map, and the 90 degree mark is to the right. Note, the grid azimuth is a degree mils value where the azimuth line crosses the protractor scale. Place the index of the protractor at the point where the draw line crosses the vertical north-south grid line. So that's the center of your protractor here. All right. Align the 0 to 180 degree line of the protractor on the vertical grid line while keeping the index in position. I have it in place. Performance step 5. Next, we determine the value of the angle grid azimuth from the scale. Note, the grid azimuth is a degrees mils value where the azimuth line crosses the protractor line. And in this case, my line would be 78 degrees. Read the value degrees or mils where the line intersects with the scale. Note, this value is the grid azimuth. At this time, does anyone have any questions? If there are no further questions, I will give you about 10 minutes to practice. Before starting the practical exercise, we will again cover the task conditions and standards. Task is determining grid azimuth using a protractor, task number 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0018. Conditions: you are a member of a squad or team that has received an order requiring movement. You have been directed to determine the grid azimuth from the start point and end point designated in the order. You have a 1 in 50,000 scale military map, a military protractor, a pencil, and paper. Some iterations of this task will be performed in Mach 4. Standards: identify a starting point on the map. Identify the end point on the map. Draw a line on the map connecting the 2 points. Align the protractor on the map. Determine the value of the angle. If we have any failures after completion of the practical exercise, retraining and retesting will occur here 20 minutes following the practical exercise, and the same uniform and the same equipment. At this time, I'm going to give you 10 minutes to practice this exercise. Ready? Begin. And stop. At this time, I will evaluate all students on their completed work. Good news, all students have passed. There will be no need for retraining. Now we are going to move into PCC and PCI of our equipment to ensure they are still functional. I need you to get out your map, protractor, map, marker, and water source. Now with the PCCs and PCIs completed, we're going to move into conducting an AAR. First, we are going to cover the initial and end state. I would like participation from all members to ensure this class is performed better each and every time. Let's cover what was supposed to happen. The first thing I was supposed to do was to introduce myself and brief the risk assessment. Following that, we were supposed to conduct PCCs and PCIs. I was supposed to state the task, the condition, and the standards verbatim. I was supposed to give step-by-step instructions and demonstrate each step, ensuring all notes and cautions, warnings are stated as they appear in the text. After I asked if there's any questions and give you 10 minutes to practice, next I was supposed to restate the task, conditions, and standards and evaluate the squad. Following the evaluation of the squad, I was supposed to provide feedback and report the assessment of the squad to my leadership. After I record the results and state retrain and retest time, date, location, and uniform. Lastly, the final PCC and PCI. So next, what actually did happen? All right, so what went right throughout this presentation? All right, what went wrong throughout this presentation? How could the training be improved for next time? Thank you for your feedback. In summary, we went over what was supposed to happen, and you told me what actually did happen. We covered what went right and what went wrong. We finally talked about how training could be improved. Lastly, I have a couple questions. Did anyone receive any injuries during this training? And were all my controls implemented effectively? Luckily, no one sustained any injuries, and all my controls were effectively implemented. I need to take a minute. I need to take 5 minutes to go over all my initial paperwork and make sure everything is in order and right at this time. So please take this time to conduct a proper police call of the area. Please leave the area better than when we left it. So I'm going to take my paperwork here. At this time, all my paperwork is in order and properly filled out. So that conducts this class. I will now release you to go back to your leadership, and this will end my training site, and I will close it out. Thank you for your time. Have a nice night.